Hansel and Gretel go woke. The fairy tale Hansel and Gretel was transmitted orally throughout Europe for centuries before it was put into print by the brothers Grimm at the beginning of the 19th century. It is a cautionary tale whose theme is timeless. It remains popular with children today. However, times change, and the tale's central theme is no longer appropriate. Therefore, it was deemed necessary to bring this classic fairy tale up to date and put it into politically correct form. We now present to you the woke-approved version that conforms to today's community guidelines. It has been judged safe for wokesters, snowflakes, Karens, virtue signalers, LGBTQ pluses, and all people who are off their rockers. It violates no community standards. In this narrative, we enter the story as Hansel and Gretel are being led for a second time deep into the forest by their cruel stepmother. The first time they were led into the forest, they had surreptitiously cast a trail of white pebbles behind them as they went. This enabled them to find their way back home after having been abandoned. However, upon their return home, they were not exactly welcomed with open arms. Instead, they were severely punished by having their smartphones confiscated. Regrettably, the second time they are led into the forest by their cruel stepmother, they don't have their pockets full of white pebbles as before. Inadvertently, they had depleted the finite resource base of available pebbles and are now forced to fill their pockets with breadcrumbs instead. As they sneakily drop the breadcrumbs behind them, Gretel notices to her chagrin that the crumbs are being eaten by birds as soon as she drops them. Curiously, the birds are falling from the sky, belly up. She notes the phenomenon, and putting two and two together, she whispers in Hansel's ear. "Hey, Hansel, save the rest of your breadcrumbs. I've got an idea." Hansel says, "Oh, okay. So what's your idea?" Gretel says, "Elementary, Hansel. We can use the breadcrumbs for the greater good." Hansel stares back at Gretel, confused. Gretel whispers, "Didn't you notice how the birds fall out of the sky dead as doornails as soon as they eat the breadcrumbs?" "Yeah, so?" Hansel asks again. "Well," says Gretel, "as it turns out, our cruel stepmother baked the bread using GMO wheat in order to do us in. And for good measure, she laced it with CoV2 mRNA spike protein." Hansel is aghast, speechless. "Listen up, Hansel," Greta continues. "We've got to think of the greater good, not just of our measly, inconsequential, pathetic, sorry asses." "What the heck are you talking about?" demands Hansel. "What greater good?" Gretel goes on to explain. "We know that the Wicked Witch lives around here, right?" "So?" replies Hansel.
It's patently obvious that we can't go back home to our cruel stepmother, right?
Says Gretel.
So instead of trying to save our sorry asses by wandering around aimlessly in the forest in a futile attempt to avoid the wicked witch, we do the unexpected and head straight to her house.
Gretel continues in the same deliberate manner.
We get to the wicked witch's house, knock on the door. The witch opens the door in a surprised shock. We scarf down the GMO spike protein lace breadcrumbs, and in the blink of an eye we fall dead as doornails at her feet, just like the birds did.
Hansel stares blankly at Gretel. She goes on.
The witch can't believe her good fortune. Without further ado, she cooks our GMO-laden corpses in her big iron pot over the fire and consumes us with delectation. Shortly afterward, she feels uneasy, goes to bed, and dies peacefully in her sleep.
Hansel is shocked. What on earth are you talking about? Pontificating, Gretel explains.
We're just a couple of poor kids abandoned by our family, right? We know that the Wicked Witch has been systematically abducting and devouring kids for years. By sacrificing our inconsequential selves, we make a small personal sacrifice, but a major contribution to the greater good. It's our civic responsibility.
Suddenly Hansel gets it and nods enthusiastically in agreement. Okay, Gretel, I'm with you. That's the least we can do to fulfill our debt to society, he proclaims. In unison they shout, Onward, Christian soldiers! The kids fulfill their altruistic mission. The rest is history. Their selfless sacrifice has become an inspiration for one and all. Footnote: There is no doubt this authorized and improved retelling of the story will endure for generations to come. As I speak, the powers that be are making a concerted effort to confiscate and burn all known copies of the original tale.